me start here. So what is a nursing home? Just to kind of give you a basic description of what a long-term care facility is. And by definition, it's really a facility that provides 24-hour custodial or residential care. And if you look at that word custodial, it means that someone needs to be in the custody of someone else. So you can imagine an infant that needs to be in custody of someone else for care. They can't be left alone. There's some reason they can't be left alone. And while with an infant, that's for obvious reasons, it may not be so obvious in someone who is older, who has either disabilities or has some type of chronic illnesses or illness that makes them, renders them unable to live on their own. They can't live independently. They need some assistance. So to qualify to live in a nursing home, in a long-term care facility, and you do have to qualify to live in a nursing home. You can't just move in because you say, that looks like a great place and I'd like to move in now because they have good food. You can't actually do that, to many surprise. But to qualify to live in a nursing home and move into it, you have to have certain diagnosis or something that does render you unable to live independently. So generally, we think of chronic illnesses, of course. It could be a disability that may have happened through life. It could be a disability that someone was born with. But those things have to be present to make you eligible to live in a nursing home. Nursing homes, and what sets them apart from other long-term care facilities, is that they do have, and by law, they have to have nurses on duty 24/7. So some of the assisted livings and things may offer a nurse on campus or something, but they're not by law required to have a nurse on duty 24/7. But in a nursing home, they do have nurses as well as certified nursing assistants or med techs. It depends on the state you're in and what's prevalent in that area. But they have someone who does the predominant amount of hands-on, face-to-face care of individuals in their care. So those people help people complete their ADLs, or their activities of daily living. And ADLs, it's kind of a misleading word sometimes, but we were in healthcare referred to them as ADLs because it's a lot shorter to say that. But activities of daily living are those things that all of us do every day, like bathing, dressing, eating, those things that you have to do. You have to be able to get around somehow, ambulating or mobility, even if it's in a wheelchair. Transferring, getting up and down out of a chair, but all those things that we all have to do each day are considered ADLs. And so those nursing assistants and nurses are going to be the people on staff there who assist you with completing those activities. A long-term care facility is also going to have meals. That's the bonus for me that doesn't like to cook. Any place that's going to serve me 3 meals a day has my vote. So the long-term care facility does provide meals. They have to be up to a certain standard. When we talk about standards, we're going to get into that, but each state has a set of individuals who go in and inspect everything down to the meals in the building. And that comes with the state survey process. But they do provide meals. They provide outings and activities. And different opportunities for all the residents there to engage in some meaningful activity. Also, one thing that sets nursing homes apart are medications are routinely given by nurses in the nursing home setting. And that's not true for other types of settings. If you are having medications administered in, for instance, an assisted living facility, that's generally a service that's paid for in addition to your room and board. But medications being given by a nurse are routinely covered in a nursing home setting. I'm going to escape over here to my chat real quick. Let's see. Does custodial mean that you can't leave off campus? Right. That's true. That is part of it. When you are in a nursing home facility, you do have to have some sort of escort. You have to have someone with you, excuse me, that differs from an assisted living or independent living, where There are no restraints on outings. You are free to go. Now, maybe you're not able to go on your own, but there is not a restriction per the facility that you cannot go. Excuse me. So yes, in a nursing home setting, you do have to have accompaniment when you leave. There may be some people in a nursing home who are able to drive. That is, it's a rare find. That's not generally someone they're going to take in a nursing home. And there's generally rules against them being that independent, or they would not live in a nursing home. Now, what it generally means is they still have a driver's license, but they don't drive because it's not safe. But you can have a driver's license and not drive for eternal. There's no number of years that's a limit. Okay, so let's see. Do the terms long-term care and nursing home refer to the same thing? They do for this class sake, yes. Long-term care facility, in this instance, we are referring to nursing home. But a long-term care facility, sometimes when we're generally speaking, we may be referring to assisted living and things like that. But truly long-term care would indicate a nursing home facility, yes. And so for this class, they're one and the same. So there may be some of you that did not know that information from the state surveys is public information. There are many people who are not even aware that there's anything, that there's a state survey process that even exists. And not only is there, but it is critical to know about. So I find it interesting to see how many of you knew that state surveys are public information, just out of curiosity. Frances says, yes, she knew.
Yes.
Janice, yes.
But I sometimes don't know where to find them.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to go on and we're going to talk about just that. So nursing home care, first of all, is it's inclusive of, and I like to go over this just briefly because sometimes there are things that are very surprising. When you talk about nursing home care and you're paying for nursing home care, that includes the room and board. It includes monitoring and administration of medication, which I just said is different from other types of other levels of care, like assisted living, where that is an additional cost because that's not routinely done. In the nursing home, that is routinely done. So it is inclusive of room and board, monitoring of medication and the administration, activities, and the assistance with personal care that we were just talking about with the certified nursing assistants or CNAs or med techs or whatever they're called in your state. And always, there is going to be a nurse on site in the nursing home. And there may be some small nursing homes that only have one nurse at night. It's going to depend on what the legal guidelines are. What by law do they have to have in the way of staff in that building? You can find out those things as well in that building and in their state surveys. And you can see how they're doing with their staffing. And that being a whole nother subject right now, because staffing is a very difficult thing right now with the state of affairs in the United States. So we know that there's a lack of employees in every place in healthcare. It's pretty